Reba McEntire, the fiery redhead who once reigned at the very top of country music, with her powerhouse voice and magnetic stage presence, is now nearing her 70th year. To generations of fans, she remains the queen of country, a woman who seemed untouchable, conquering arenas, award shows, television, Broadway, and even Las Vegas with unstoppable energy. But today, behind the golden glow of her legacy, her life has slowed and taken on a quieter, lonelier rhythm. Fame that once brought her constant company has faded, leaving her with health challenges, the ache of lost love, and the silence of days lived mostly away from the spotlight. The woman who once had it all, fortune, fame, and a devoted family, now lives in a world far removed from the dazzling whirlwind she created, carrying more sadness than many of her fans could ever imagine. Her rise to stardom was far from glamorous. Born in McAlester, Oklahoma, and raised on her family's ranch in Chalky, Reba was shaped by hard work and discipline. Her father, a champion steer roper, and her mother, determined and demanding, instilled resilience in their children. Instead of dreaming of stages, Reba grew up in rodeo arenas, saddling horses and roping cattle while balancing schoolwork. Singing was an unexpected gift, not a career plan. As a teenager, she sang the national anthem at rodeos, her voice soaring over crowds with a raw, natural strength. That voice caught the attention of Red Stagel in 1974 at the National Finals Rodeo, and his encouragement led her to record a demo in Nashville. Soon after, she signed with Mercury Records. Her earliest singles struggled to chart, leaving her with empty venues, little money, and exhaustion from constant touring. But instead of giving up, she drew strength from her father's words. "All the McEntires know how to do is work." By the late 1970s, perseverance finally rewarded her with recognition through songs like "You Lift Me Up to Heaven." Then came the 1980s, the decade that made her a star. Hits such as "How Blue" and "Somebody Should Leave" not only topped charts, but also cemented her reputation as a voice for women enduring heartbreak and survival. Her music resonated because it reflected real life, not fantasy. Reba became a regular at the Grand Ole Opry, collecting CMA and ACM awards, earning the title of Queen of Country. But success carried a hidden cost. It demanded relentless sacrifice of time, privacy, and personal peace. Every achievement came with the price of exhaustion, and those sacrifices would follow her long after the applause. As the 1990s unfolded, Reba was already one of country music's brightest stars, but she was determined to prove herself beyond the genre. She expanded into television, film, and Broadway, reinventing herself as more than a singer. Her role in the 1990 cult classic Tremors showed her humor and relatability, while her Broadway performance in Annie Get Your Gun in 2001 won her critical praise as if she had always belonged to the stage. Her sitcom, Reba, which ran 6 seasons, revealed her wit and warmth to millions of households that may never have listened to her songs. She transformed herself into a multi-dimensional entertainer, winning fans across genres. Alongside her artistic ventures, she launched clothing lines, home goods, and built herself into a brand, embodying the image of a strong, approachable Southern woman. Yet the empire came at an emotional cost. Behind her relentless work schedule and ever-present smile, she often collapsed into bed alone. Fame turned into a cage of endless demands, leaving her constantly moving but deeply isolated. The more her empire expanded, the heavier the crown became, and though admired by millions, she quietly carried the burden of loneliness and fatigue. Her personal life mirrored her triumphs and tragedies. In 1991, disaster struck when a plane crash killed 7 members of her band and crew. Though she wasn't on the flight, the loss devastated her, leaving her grief-stricken and nearly silenced. Her album, For My Broken Heart, recorded in the aftermath, remains one of her most emotional and enduring works. Then, decades later, her 26-year marriage to Narvel Blackstock, her manager, partner, and anchor, collapsed. Their divorce in 2015 shocked fans and devastated Reba, who was left not only heartbroken but also betrayed when Narvel quickly moved on with someone close to the family. The end of their union dismantled her personal and professional support system. Even her stepmotherly bond with Brandon Blackstock, who later divorced Kelly Clarkson, grew strained by family divides. These blows deepened her loneliness and reshaped her outlook on trust and love. Throughout, she leaned on her faith, her son Shelby, and her work. But the scars of loss and betrayal never fully healed, adding new layers to her songs and her guarded way of life. For all her years surrounded by crowds, fame brought with it profound solitude. The cheering audiences, flashing cameras, and bustling schedules faded into quiet hotel rooms and long nights. After her divorce, that silence grew heavier, forcing her to keep busy just to avoid the ache of emptiness. Though her relationship with actor Rex Linn has brought her comfort in recent years, the solitude of her earlier struggles remains etched into her being. Friends say her bond with family remains strong, especially with her son, but she still feels the weight of time lost to the demands of her career. She missed countless holidays, milestones, and ordinary joys in the pursuit of extraordinary success. Even among peers, she feels distanced, respected as a legend, yet separated from the new generation that views her as a relic of a different era. Her humor and charm in interviews mask the truth. She is beloved, but admiration does not equal companionship. Now, as she nears 70, her body has slowed. Years of ranch work, touring, and relentless performance have left her with aches and fatigue that she rarely admits aloud. Aging is hard for anyone, but for a woman who has lived her life in the public eye, every wrinkle and change becomes a headline. Once praised for her fiery energy, she now faces whispers about her slowed movements and softened voice. The country music world honors its legends, but the spotlight inevitably shifts to younger stars. She still performs occasionally, her spark undimmed, but the stamina of her prime is gone. For someone who built her life on hard work and independence, accepting her physical limits has been a painful reckoning. Emotional pain, too, has worn on her health, leaving her moving with a fragility her friends quietly notice. Though she built an empire, financial and career pressures remain. Touring, once her main source of income, is harder now. Royalties aren't as strong in the age of streaming, and ventures like clothing lines require constant promotion. Though she remains secure, she feels the burden of staying relevant in an industry that values youth above all. Slowing down forces her to face uncomfortable questions about identity and purpose. She fears fading into obscurity, caught between being too iconic to disappear, yet too weary to keep up with the pace of her past. Her present life is quieter, defined by solitude more than spectacle. Her ranch offers peace, but also echoes with silence. She spends her days caring for her horses, reflecting on the past, writing privately, or watching old westerns. While her relationship with Rex Linn gives her joy, friends note that her heart still bears old wounds. She is surrounded by admiration, but few truly understand the loneliness that accompanies being an icon who has outlived her era. To her fans, she remains the fiery redhead with a dazzling smile. To herself, she is often a woman facing the quiet ache of nights spent alone, realizing the empire she built has become more memory than reality. Reba McEntire has lived a life of extraordinary achievement. Millions of albums sold, countless awards, arenas filled with ovations, but her story is not only one of triumph, it is also one of sacrifice, heartbreak, and loneliness. She has confessed to regrets, the family moments missed, the personal connections lost to the relentless pursuit of greatness. Yet she carries no bitterness. Instead, she reflects with wisdom, leaning on her faith and resilience. In her own words and actions, she shows that even legends are human, longing for love, peace, and understanding. Her sadness today is real, but so is her enduring fire. She remains strong, though weary, proud of her legacy, yet humbled by the toll it took. Her fans will not remember her only for the loneliness of her later years, but for the strength that defined her life. They will remember the voice that turned heartache into anthems, the grit that built an empire from nothing, and the dignity with which she carried herself through storms. Her legacy will outlast the silence that surrounds her now. Even if her fire burns more softly, it continues to shine. For Reba McEntire, the saddest truth may be that time has slowed her body and dimmed the spotlight, but her spirit endures. She is, and always will be, a survivor. And though her present may seem somber, her legacy remains one of brilliance, strength, and lasting inspiration.